So this is a little goddess yoga story time. It's not just stories about me. I'm just going to tell a few off the top of my head about how things shift and change because of goddess yoga in women's lives. So I'll just tell mine personally because I think this is really what lit me on fire for sharing the medicine and magic of goddess. But the first time I moved on my mat in these ways, heart openers, hip openers, booty shaking, really feeling sexy on my mat, really feeling sensual and alive and turned on. I left that very first time I ever moved like that on my mat. It wasn't goddess at the time, but it was something a little bit similar. Uh, I went home and cried underneath the covers in my bed for 3 hours. It was like something erupted in me that I was stuffing down for so long. And it was the knowledge that I wasn't happy in my marriage. And I didn't want to face it. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to acknowledge it, but it was there. And after those 3 hours of crying, I mean, I was shaking. I was, it was intense. Um, I was able to actually sit my partner down at the time and tell him all of the things that were stuffed down inside of me. I mean, it was like a volcano erupted, and I couldn't even hold it in if I tried. And I knew after that, I guess I'll say, moment in my life that this was something every woman needed. That we have been conditioned and taught to repress our feelings, repress our emotions, be a good girl, do the right thing, be nice. And it's making us sick. It's making us literally betray ourselves at a deep level. So for me, that was the key moment that I was like, I want to get this into every woman's life, every woman that I possibly can. And since then, there's been instance after instance after instance. Thousands of women have experienced goddess yoga at this point, maybe tens of thousands. And I can remember specific instances of women in the same kind of position as me. So there was one that I had the very first training here in Arizona. I won't name names, but uh, it was a girl that signed up for training 10 years ago. She showed up, and for some reason, she showed up late. So the doors were locked. She couldn't get in the training when we first started. And when we came out, she was upset and crying and really, like visibly aggravated. And it kind of revealed itself over the weekend that she was in a really toxic relationship, that her partner at the time, her husband at the time, was telling her she shouldn't be there. It was wasting her time. She was abandoning him and their son by being there. Basically, she couldn't really enjoy her training and was constantly being berated for being there. At the end of the training, I remember her opening up and telling some of us this and crying over it and telling us how miserable she was and really needed, to really speak her truth and stand up for herself. And I think God has awakened that in her. And she called me a few days later and said, Holly, I didn't tell you this, but I haven't had my period in, I don't know, 5 months now. It's just been, I don't know where it is. I'm not on birth control. I have no idea why I'm not bleeding. She said, and I went home after the training and everything came out of me that I needed to say to my husband. Every single thing that he had done to push me down, to shove me down, to silence me, to shame me, to make me feel bad. I stood up for myself and everything flowed out of me that I needed to say. And I feel I have the strength to leave him. And after that, she said, after that conversation, she started her period. And I just felt like that was the body responding to her, opening up her truth, opening her heart, opening her throat, opening her womb. And that alone spoke volumes. And she was just like, it was incredible that I finally knew that I had blocked something that was stuck. Let me think of another one. So there was a girl that just recently got certified and was at the training and said that, it took a lot for her to be like, I'm taking the weekend for myself. You can handle the kids. I'm doing this for me. And when she got home from training, it was kind of the same thing where she was like, I realized that you're not honoring me. She named all the ways that he really wasn't showing up for her, supporting her, honoring her as a woman, worshiping her as a goddess, just like supporting her. And she spoke her truth and said that he left for a week, maybe 2 weeks, and came back with so much remorse, so much sadness, had done so much inner work about the way he showed up for her. And she said that he literally showed up a different man, that she had raised her standards for what she was going to allow in her life, and therefore he rose up to meet her. And they actually renewed their vows recently. She said it almost sounds like it would be, she said, I want to give you a testimonial, but it almost feels like it's too good to be true, which I told her no. There's many times where women actually decide they're going to raise what they are allowing in their lives, and the men that they have in their lives rise up to meet that standard. So that one was really beautiful as well. I think there's so many I could tell, but those are just a few that are on the top of my head.